Let's see.
It's over.
Yeah, we're live, and we have one viewer. Okay, your introduction.
I talked to you guys. Okay, so you guys all saw me. He was just here drinking coffee. We have Father Sebastiaan here today, which is a really great thing. I really appreciate that you come here. I know it's not easy to get across town in LA in the middle of the day, ever, and you know, we're a small community over here, and I just think it's really kind of you to come spend your time with us at Otis College. Anyway, so Father Sebastiaan, I became aware of him years and years ago because I was a vampire literature fanatic, and all of a sudden I started hearing buzzing about this guy who's not only an author, but someone who creates and produces clubs for vampire communities, but not just for vampires. I think anyone can go.
Witches and demons and kittens and bats and all sorts.
People who would appreciate an alternative lifestyle. Maybe that would be a good way to put it. So he does that, and he, in a lot of ways, this is one of the reasons he's called Father Sebastiaan, but he'll explain his honorific to you. He really is probably the most key figure in creating what is the contemporary vampire community now. So that's kind of a pretty intense thing. And everyone who's in the vampire community does know who he is, or has probably met him, or been to one of his clubs, which is pretty cool. One of the things, and he makes his living as a Fangsmith and a vampire Impresario and a vampire author. So, you know, it's kind of rare that somebody actually gets to make a living doing those things that they best love. So I think that's pretty cool. But what I like the best about him, because when you say vampire, or when you say club producer or club promoter, you often would think, I might be a little intimidated by that person, or you might think that person might be a little bit arrogant. But he is none of that. He's like the nicest, most accepting person. So that's the thing that I think is most cool about Father Sebastiaan. So please welcome him.
Hi everybody. Thank you for the introduction, Heather.
One of the things that I really love doing is being able to educate people on archetypes.
And the vampires are just one great example of archetypes. So when you, who's your Harry Potter fan, for example?
Okay.
Who's Slytherin? You look like a Slytherin, but you're probably not familiar with that. No, we will educate you on Slytherin. Slytherins, educate her. She's part of your house.
Harry Potter is a great example of mythology that is interactive. It's an experience where you get to participate in a living, breathing, active mythology that is not a religion.
And Harry Potter is a good example. The vampire culture is also another example of a mythology that is translated into a culture. So one of the great things about life is that these archetypes, according to Carl Jung, are the ways that the human mind frames things, are creatures of patterns. So today I'm going to talk about my favorite archetype, the vampire, and how that mythology has evolved from a blood-sucking corpse out of the graveyard, or a demon or a devil, and turned into one of the greatest and most powerful archetypes in our culture. Because what's different about the vampire versus a zombie is they're sexy, romantic, and empowering, and you can become one. You evolve into a vampire. And every single one of you has the opportunity to do that if you choose to relate to that archetype. If you want to relate to another archetype, that's great. But the human mind is one of the most powerful things we know of, until the singularity comes and it kills us. Okay, our processing power is what has been the link between primitive animals and the future of the universe. Now, I'm a student of science. I'm a student of the occult. I'm a student of entertainment. I'm a student of life. And the vampire has been an incredibly empowering archetype for myself. Now, every time I go on, Pottermore, and I try to take the test, I end up with Slytherin, but I always go to Gryffindor because I like the nobility and the honor. Now, what is the vampire? What is a vampire?
A vampire is a
creature that has gone from
human consciousness and maintain that human consciousness to becoming a predator of humans.
the vampire is a step of human evolution, or it is a step of a curse. There's many varieties of expressions of what the vampire can be. The vampire can be sexy, or it can be repulsive. The vampire can be empowering, or it can be, a curse of sorts. So we look at the three greatest influences
On the vampire mythos, the modern vampire mythos.
The modern vampire mythos is basically what we know today as a vampire.
Now, there's thousands of vampire mythos and myths and legends throughout history. Asia has hundreds of them. Europe has hundreds of them. We all think they come from Romania, but Japan had like fox-like vampire creatures, or Malaysia had these creatures that their necks would pop out and they would be flying spines with heads. China has the hopping vampires, the fairy vampires from Ireland, or the Celtic cultures. These mythologies have been around, and they've collectively manifested into what we know as the modern vampire mythos, which is what we know today as Dracula or Lestat, or when we watch True Blood. And Twilight is a great example of a very weird diversion from the standard modern vampire mythos. But it all began when Mary Shelley, and Lord Byron back in the 1820s got together and
we are, Can you please keep an eye on this?
All right, so we have the different forms of vampires. Okay, let's go through. Who would be the Nosferatu, the ugly vampires living in the sewer?
I don't think anybody would. Who would be the gangrel, the hippie vampires? Would be a gangrel? Who would be a Malkavian, the crazy vampires that go out, because they're actually one of the most popular clans in roleplay. Ventru, the dilettantes.
Keep turning off.
Yeah,
It gets dim in a
Okay.
Let's fix that.
setting, yeah.
iPhones are more complex than Androids for.
So, who would be a sorcerer vampire? Samir? Yeah? Okay. I'm actually going to get in the phone then. Is this Samir next to me? Hi, everybody. Now, what is cool is that what Vampire the Masquerade did for me, what Vampire the Masquerade did for, you have to keep talking?
I think so, yeah.
What is going on?
It's probably the setting for how long you have it set before
Yeah. It keeps going dark? That's not good. No, what's that?
It's a new vampire. It's more like a vampire disease thing, near future. But it's like the whole
I'm gonna stop the.
Okay, guys, we're going to have to go to filming because this screen is not working. I don't know what's going on. But iPhones usually don't cooperate.
Okay. So sorry about this, but we're gonna just videotape it and upload it.